I'm good now? All right, good deal. There we go. Yeah. If I'll operate it right, it'll work right. Right? There we go. All right, good deal. John chapter 18, you know, I was thinking about tonight, and I was thinking about, of course, our devotional book continues on, and then, you know, along comes these special events like graduation, and it's an exciting time of the year, especially for those 6 that we're celebrating with tonight. And so I thought, well, okay, so do we talk about graduates, or do we want to keep doing our devotional book? And so we'll see if this works, and if it don't, it don't, okay? But I'm going to try to maybe tie the two together a little bit here. In John chapter 18, our devotional segment for the week, you've got the cross. You know, kind of, we're coming down to the end of John, and of course, if you've already looked ahead, you know that Friday is Acts chapter 1, and of course, we'll deal with Acts next Sunday, Lord willing. But as you come through the cross, from John's perspective, it's quite a bit different than the other 3, as most other things are. But the gist of everything is still there. So as you go through chapter 18, you've got the betrayal of Judas, very significant part of this. You've got the trial of Jesus, very significant part. His arrest and all there in chapter 18. Then when you move into chapter 19, you have the crucifixion itself. And of course, following the crucifixion, you move into the burial. And then chapter 20, you have the resurrection. And you have the appearances of Jesus in chapter 20. And then, of course, if you know anything about the book of John, you have chapter 21. And so there's another chapter out there. And unlike Matthew, Mark, and Luke, if you know that Matthew's got 28 chapters, guess what the resurrection chapter is? Well, it's Matthew 28. If you know that Mark has 16 chapters, guess what the resurrection chapter is? 16. If you know that Luke has 24 chapters, then guess what the resurrection chapter is? 24. John has 21 chapters. Guess what the resurrection chapter is? 20, not 21, right? So it's all together different than the first 3 in that we have this whole chapter after, not just the chapter that involves the resurrection, but then we have a whole nother chapter following the resurrection and some appearances that Jesus made. And so what do we want to take away from these chapters? Well, this is the 4th time we've looked at this, so what can we really take away that we hadn't already taken away? And that's a fair question. I want to call your attention to 2 places tonight, and then let's celebrate with our graduates. And I want you to think about it with me for just a moment and how it relates to graduation. The first place I want to call your attention to is to the Bible reading. It's found in John chapter 19, verses 26 through 30. Jesus is recorded as saying 7 things from the cross. 7 statements, 7 comments, however how you want to refer to that. He is recorded 7 times speaking while on the cross. 4 of those 7 statements are found in the short few verses that Brother Jim read a moment ago. And here's what I want you to think about with me for a moment. Aren't last things important? What you say last. I want to take you to a time in your life where you lost a loved one. What was the last thing you said to them? You ever think about that? Well, I do sometimes as I think about people whom I've said goodbye to, and what was our last conversation? Oh, this is Jesus' last conversation, if you will, while alive in body. I realize there's a resurrection, but while in the flesh, in the human form, while hanging on the cross. Now, how does that apply to